And the next program that I just finished now is Soul Convergence Program. This is so fascinating to me because I practice Qigong and we talk about balancing masculine and feminine energy and in like Chinese symbol that's yin and yang. So we know that the importance of balancing both energies. And during my Qigong practice, I always wanted to balance my feminine and masculine energy. So this one came to me. I was so excited.
Yeah, how awesome. Oh my gosh. So you were totally prepped for it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And something like very fascinating that you told me about this program is that it not only balances your masculine feminine energies, it also help you achieve the level of healing that normally may require lifetimes.
Yeah.
And you talk about what is feminine energy and what is masculine energy, or what they do. Can you give some examples of wounded masculine energy versus healthy masculine energy? Because I think
Oh,
the people still don't understand that. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And it is, you're right. We talk a lot about these concepts without really having a good understanding of what they really come down to. And the I would say a lot of people think of divine feminine and divine masculine as being opposites. And as being, but what I see is you have the divine expression of masculine energy, and then you have the sort of disintegrated expression or the overexpression of masculine energy. So you have in its highest, and then you have it in its downfall. And same thing with feminine energy. You have it in its highest, and then you have it in its downfall. And so feminine energy is the energy that it's really the energy of intuitive connection. It's our energy of connection to source. It is about being in flow with the universe, right? It's that openness. If you think about the universe as this kind of like open, expansive, or open state, open set of receptivity, and it is the feminine is what discerns where we should go and what we should do. It's because of that intuitive connection. So the feminine is the one that feels through the heart space. Where is it that I'm guided? Where is it that I'm led? Where should we be headed? Right. And so it's all about that flow of the universe, being in the flow, being receptive to what we want to understand or what we want to go, being receptive to our guidance. But if we were only in our feminine, nothing would ever get done. Because it's all about being in that flow and being receptive and hearing the stuff and having the ideas and having the guidance. But you need the masculine to then step in and say, the masculine says, okay, feminine says, okay, here is where I feel we need to go. Then masculine has to say, great, I am going to now make that happen. So the masculine is that it's the head energy, right? Feminine is the heart energy, masculine is the head energy that comes forward and says, great, okay, if that's what we want to achieve, here is my 5-step plan of how we're going to do it. And here's the steps I'm going to take to get there. Right. And then the two then have to work together. They have to balance back and forth. So it has to be the masculine energy is putting things into action, taking steps of action. And the feminine is then going to be feeling and saying, is this getting me where I want to go? How do I feel about these actions? How do I feel about this state? And being in that flow of opportunity, saying, hey, you guys you're doing all this work, masculine, but I can feel our way to hear some beautiful guided opportunity that's just going to flow to us. So it's this process between the two of being divinely guided in our action. But then you have this beautiful, when you can get to this beautiful state where the two are working together, and the masculine comes first, supporting and lifting up, expressing the feminine, and you have this beautiful balance between the two. Or you can have a state where one or the other is wounded, or both. And what you end up with then is an overexpression or underexpression of a particular energy. So what can be a healthy sense of self-determination and individual action can become an overexpression of masculine energy, which becomes power hungry or controlling or domineering, right? It takes this lovely expression, which is like, hey, I'm going to make my way in the world. I'm going to create action in the world. And it turns it into something that then is about power over others. And that's just one example. On the feminine side, you can have that beautiful divine flow which is when you're in your feminine and you're like, yeah, I'm riding the wave of the universe and it's moving through me and I'm creating from this beautiful space of awareness. But it's not a space of masculine action, it's feminine creation. That it would be the divine expression of the feminine. And you can have that being attuned and being receptive as being the positive expression. And then you can have the negative expression would be someone who's completely unable to make a decision, right? Who is so open and so receptive that they cannot find what they actually feel. It's almost like they're too wishy-washy, right? So you get the negative expression of the feminine. So you have, when you're in your divinity, you're bringing all that energy to the center and it's blended and unified. When we're out of balance, we're dipping into these over expressions or under expressions of these energies, and we end up with the world we have now, which is an over expression of divine masculine energy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. As you were talking, I was just reflecting on myself, how I'm doing. Um, and I definitely before like had issues with not being able to accepting my feminine energy, always in the place of doing in
Yeah,
order to find value for myself. And that was the beginning point of my healing journey, because that really created a lot of emotional turmoil. And at that time, I really saw emotion as an obstacle for me to achieve my goals, because I was all in my head, all masculine energy. In my birth chart, a lot of masculine energy as well.
yeah,
Like no water sign at all. So I have to learn how to embody emotions and feminine energy. And now I realize there's so much depth to it. And to develop spiritually, like we need a lot of feminine energy, because
yeah,
that's gonna help us to discern what energy is good for us. Um,
yeah.
can you talk about like how this program can help us heal issues that it may take other healings like lifetimes to achieve?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say that, I mean, as we're on our journey, the first challenge we have is waking up. And I see waking up, to me, the moment of waking up is the moment when we realize, where we really accept that our world is a reflection of us. It's that moment that rather than looking outside of ourselves and saying, who is to blame for how I feel, we instead look inward and say, what inside of me created this? And we start to move through our world and our life with that perspective, where we start to, everything becomes an experience of ourself, and we live from that place. And to me, that is awakening. That's the moment where we start to understand that we are the creators of our own reality. So from that point forward, if someone is able to get to that very important switch in our perspective of the world, then at that point the challenge becomes seeing ourselves. The challenge becomes finding where are our wounds. And the more healing we do, the harder it gets to find our wounds, to find the challenges that are inside of us, to find why is it that we do what we do? Why do these particular issues, why are they coming forward? And so, like, I'm sure most people can think in their life about a particular circumstance. Maybe they have, a really terrible romantic relationship, right? Maybe they have a dynamic with a parent that every time they see that parent, it brings a certain reaction in them, right? Or maybe they have a fear that they just can't figure out. Like, why is it that I'm afraid, or I feel anxiety for conflict? Like, why do I have anxiety whenever I feel like someone is angry at me? Or why do I feel like I have to walk on eggshells around this person, right? There are these things in us that we're like, what is creating that? But it's very, very hard to get to the root of it. And so for a lot of people, they will be stuck on square one. If you think of life as like a hopscotch path with the different jumps that you have to make, some people never get off square one. And I would say that is the majority of people who come to Earth never get off square one. That it is a miracle if they can get to the point of that awakening moment when they discover that they are creating their own reality. And then once they get past that, to the point of like, okay, great, now I see it's me. What do I need to change in me? Trying to find those wounds to really understand themselves, to see themselves, is so much harder than we give it credit for. That it takes help. Like, trying to do it by ourselves is very, very challenging. And it's the realizations come few and far between. And so that's why I would say that for the typical person to make progress in a life, if you can heal if you can heal 2 or 3 things in a lifetime, you are crushing it normally. You know what I mean? Like, that's great. That's amazing. But for a lot of people, that's not the case. And so, what I see in soul convergence, and one of the reasons I'm so excited that the angels have brought this now, is that we have this unique time in our lives right now. This period that we are in is very unique, where all healing is available to us. The more healing we can do right now, the more this is like an opportunity to scrub our souls bright and shiny clean, to get as much healing as we possibly can, because we get to take it all with us. And then once we shift to this higher frequency, it will be much harder to heal, because it will be that much harder for us to find our wounds. But right now, we still live in this place where we are triggered, where we have to endure conflict, where we bump up against ourselves all the time. And so soul convergence helps you to move through life and to take all of the things that are happening and to integrate them as healing. So it guides you through a process where it speeds it up. It brings all of your stuff to the surface, and then it aligns all of it and brings it into your center. And so it's doing it wave after wave after wave. So it's literally, if you think of each one of those as a process of integration, it's bringing, and and they're going deep. They're healing ancient wounds. They're healing back through our past lives. They're just as much as they can get free in your system, as much as we are willing to release, they are healing. So it is definitely an accelerated process. Yeah, it amazes me how much people are accomplishing.
Yeah, I totally remember when I was doing some of the sessions, the recordings, like the angels first bring us to some of the wounded place, like feeling frustrated, feeling like there's no love, and then take us to an elevated place where you feel there's light, where you feel like you're permeated with divine energy. So
Yeah.
they did it very gently and very beautifully. And
Yeah.
you're talking about that we are at this time, like our lifetimes are available to us.
Yeah.
Is it just now or in the future too?
It's true right now. It's true in this lifetime. I imagine it will be true for us as throughout this incarnation. I'm not sure what will happen after the waves of light come. I don't know if that'll still be the case. I know it's true now because this is this idea that we have. This is like go for broke. This is like heal as much as you can. That's what we're in right now. This is like the healing derby where it's like, how much can we do? And so they kind of took off all the restrictions. And normally when we would incarnate in past lives, we would only have access to those lives that were relevant to that life. It would be like we would pick and choose and say, okay, I want to heal this wound, and I want these gifts. So I can see those in these past lives. So I'm going to connect to these 5 lives, and that's it. And that's how we would do it. And then in the past, we really didn't have access to the Akashic records. There was only certain people who had a very specific gift who could access the Akashic records. Well, now that's changed for this life only, is that we can all access it. We can all have, and our entire experience, we can bring in anything, we can heal anything. So yeah, so it's a wonderful time to be on earth. Like in terms of our ability to move forward as a soul, to become brighter as a soul, it's like no other.
Wow, it's a very pivotal time for humanity, right?
It really is. Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
amazing time. And an amazing time to being here right now is like winning the lottery, because your Earth always has been the best learning school
Oh
in
yeah.
the universe, but now you take the very best learning school and you open the Akashic records and you make it possible where you can heal anything. So this is literally the time to be here. Like, this is an amazing time to be here.
Yeah, I think it depends on people's perspective. They can
Hmm.
see, they can either it is the best time or it is the worst time because
Right.
it requires you to not hold on to the past. The past construct doesn't work anymore, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And even after the lights come, there will still be people who are needing healing. Like, there will still be people who are wanting to come into the light who are not yet there yet, but they said the opportunity is available to everyone. And so there may be people who are really looking for light workers. And the angels have said that your light will be viewable, that people will be able to see you, that you have embodied that light, and they will know you can help them. So the concept of like healers not being busy, that's going to change, I think. I think the healers are going to be very, very busy.
Correct. That's amazing. One thing I also would like to add regarding your soul convergence group is that every participant is also assigned to a dream analyst.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
something so fascinating.
Yeah.
My dream analyst is Janice. She's been on my channel. I interviewed her, and I not only used all 4 sessions, I booked her, extra sessions as well because she is so spot on. And I think with dream interpretation, we really bring what's unconscious to the conscious, so
Yeah.
that that's another way to accelerate our progress on Earth. 'Cause,
Absolutely.
yeah, I
Yeah,
feel.
and I love having that as part of the program because to me, you are able to track your dreams and see your own progress. And I find that to be so incredibly encouraging for you to be able to see, like, if you're dreaming and your dreams show you, okay, here's the wound, and then you work on it, you have a session, and then you come into the dreams, your next dream, and that issue is not there anymore, right? You've switched, you've moved on to some new issue, which says you have healed that, right? Like it's gone, it's cleared. So to me, it's the most exciting thing because you can track your progress. So I think there's a lot of times we go through healing and we think it's helping, but we don't really know if it's helping. And with the dreams, you're able to see what's going on because and the way it'll show up, sometimes you have like a really obvious sign, like you'll dream that you're passing a test, or you'll dream that you're crossing a border or doing these things, or you'll see your house being worked on, being remodeled. Like these are signs that you're healing, that you're in the process of healing, or that you have shifted to a new state of awareness. But then you might also just see that you have all your dreams about a particular issue, and it's like you're dreaming about it, and then all of a sudden, boom, your dreams shift to the next issue. And when that happens, that means you have healed that issue. So it's very exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. With the dream analysts, they are highly trained, and I find the way they interpret the dreams is very fascinating as well. They not only read into symbolism, but also they channel for you
Yeah.
as well, because dreams are so personal.
Very.
That's why a lot of dream dictionaries don't always work. Um, mhm.
Yeah, you're so right there. And I think it's given dream analysis a bad rap. Like I think that people will look up their dreams in dream dictionaries and it never makes any sense because those dictionaries are not accurate.
Mhm.
And it really takes like the specific method that the analysts are using is the Ashling School method. It's developed by Michael Sheridan, and it is the only method I have found that I think it's close to like Jungian philosophy, that to Carl Jung, to the it has there's some things in common with that, but it is the reason why I know it works is when I first found it and found Michael who created it. The reason why why I knew it worked is because when I had my dreams done, what I would see is that I would see the same exact like I would see multiple different symbols in the dream, but they would all be saying the exact same thing. So in other words, it would be the dream would reinforce the same message. And then I would have multiple dreams all saying the exact same thing, but in totally different ways. All the symbols, like it'd be like 5 symbols that all meant the same exact thing. So for me, like one of my first dreams that I had over and over and over and over again, but in 50 different ways, was telling me to stop eating dairy. Like apparently I had no idea it was toxic for me, like terrible for me. And I had no clue. And I love cheese, you know what I mean? I was like, yeah. And so, but anyways, I had dream after dream, and every single dream would mention, and it would show it to me in 15 different ways. And so I knew the dreams were accurate, that the symbols were accurate, because how could they all be saying the exact same thing? And so it was like the meanings reinforced themselves. And that was what really built my trust in the process. But yeah, but you're right. There is a certain amount that also just needs to be channeled on because the meanings can be very personal.
Mhm. Yeah, wow, this is truly like interesting. We have really progressed so much. Like we may think just the little things we did, healing ourselves, small things, but actually it's very big things, because when we heal something, it actually leave a mark in the collective unconscious and help the people who come after us, their journey become a bit easier, right?
Absolutely. I think you're absolutely right. Is that, and that some of that is that we are raising our own frequency.
Mhm.
So if you think of each of us as like a light bulb on the planet, and that each of us are having, say we all start out as like 20-watt light bulbs, But as we clear our frequency, as we clear our and heal, our light bulb gets stronger. So maybe now you're 100-watt light bulb, and you're super bright. And so what is the total amount of light on the planet? Well, now it's a lot more because you are holding more light. And so that's what each of us is doing, is we're trying to increase our wattage. And that wattage then impacts the collective consciousness, is that as you shift your ideas about, like, think about how certain ideas have spread like wildfire in the collective. And I think this is going to increase dramatically in 2024. I think we're going to see a massive shift in that new ideas will just like, it'll spread like overnight. It'll be like, it's almost like the collective consciousness is becoming more fluid, more open, like new ideas can travel faster. Like even think about like when AI was released and how you turn around and pretty soon like everybody is using it. It just spread so fast. So I think new ideas are moving faster as we get to be, and to as our consciousness is moving, is shifting to a higher rate or higher state. But yeah, I think as we are trying to open to concepts like that everything is energy, and to concepts of meditation, and concepts of that we create our reality, and all of these things that we take for granted, that those are spreading through the collective. And I'm so excited to see it.
Yeah, me too. This is exciting for me as well, contributing to humanity. As we healing ourselves, we are doing big service for humanity as well, right? So
Yeah.
as we take the initiation to heal ourselves, we actually prompt ourselves to become a better healer as well.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's exactly true. And I can tell you that my own path as a healer has shifted constantly, that my own method and way of healing is constantly evolving and changing. And I welcome that. Like I'm always growing myself and learning, and right now the angels do most of the heavy lifting, which is great. But I am allowing that energy to move through me. And so the more that I can grow and expand, the more energy I can hold, the better healer I can be. Yeah.